Just give me 2 minutes while I check to make sure that everything is online and good to go. Fine. Okay. Okay, looking all right. Hi guys, those of you who don't know me, my name is Jackie M and I am a Malaysian street food specialist, born in Malaysia, spent the last 33 years of my life over here, and I used to own a restaurant, and nowadays I do a lot of this and other stuff as well. And I've got, today's the day that I've got my little Down syndrome toddler with me, so let's see how disruptive he is or otherwise. But I'm going to have a go at making a nasi goreng today, okay? Nasi literally means rice in Malay and Indonesian. Goreng means fried, okay? So I'm making essentially fried rice. And you know what? There are so many different versions of fried rice. There's no fixed set of ingredients that go into it. So that's something that you have to keep in mind first off, right off the bat, okay? But I'm going to, if you see in the bottom, bottom right-hand corner of the screen, there's an image of a nasi goreng that I had in Kelantan. Kelantan is a northern state in the peninsula of Malaysia. And before I go on any further, I always forget to do this. Shout outs to Lenovo for the laptop that I use for my live broadcast, which is an IdeaPad Y700, and also to Rode microphones for the microphones I use. But yeah, when I was in Kelantan last, they served this fairly, thanks for hosting. They serve this fairly like blinged out fried rice here. Just let me pop over and try and enlarge the image. Thanks for hosting the hunger service. And here we go. Let me just enlarge this. Can I? Oh, no, I can't. Okay, sorry. But if you can see it, it's a darker colored fried rice. Usually the Malay Indonesian versions of fried rice, nasi goreng, tend to be a darker hue, and I'll explain the stuff that go into it in a little bit. And it's got a separate fried egg that sits on top, and then it's served with keropok, which are usually in Kelantan, they're famous for their fish crackers, okay? Keropok means crackers. Whereas down in my part of Malaysia, it's prawn crackers that's more popular. So I'm going to fry up some prawn crackers, some commercial prawn crackers. That way you can see how you what to look for when you buy prawn crackers at the shops and how you fry it up, okay? And also that particular version over there comes with some sambal. I don't know if I have time to make some sambal. I've already got some sambal in my fridge, so I'll just talk you through. I've got other videos that show you how to make sambal belacan. Okay, so we might do that. And also it's got like a fried chicken, ayam goreng, in the corner. And if you watch my last broadcast, I had some ayam goreng, some fried chicken with my, well, basically I made some ayam goreng. And I'm going to pull it out and show you what it looks like because, you know, we're going to fry some up as well, just for presentation purposes. And also, because I was in Kelantan, that particular version of fried rice had some, what we call serunding in the corner, okay? I also have another video already, especially if you own a thermal cooker or a thermal mix, it's very, very easy to make. Serunding essentially is kind of like a meat floss, right? And the Malay Indonesian version of serunding, it can be made with chicken, it can be made with beef, it can be made even with fish, right? But in Kelantan, serunding is very, very popular, and it's served as a kind of like a little condiment on the corner, right? And also it's got some pickles as well. I don't know if we've got time to make pickles, but anyway, just quickly, I've got some leftover rice over here, and just let me move some things out of the way so it doesn't look disastrous. If you've got any questions, right away, hit me up in the chat. And if you're watching this anywhere else except on Twitch, hop over to Twitch if this is live. Hop over to Twitch anyway, which is JackieM.live. Thanks for hosting, which is JackieM.live, right? And that takes you to my Twitch page, and just hit follow, and then you'll get to catch all my broadcasts and also interact with me in the chat room as well. And then you get a chance. I've got giveaways and that sort of stuff on a regular basis. I've really only been doing this Twitch thing for a few weeks now, but we're ramping things up a little bit. Okay, so I've got some, this is just plain boiled rice, okay? So nothing in it except just water and rice. And I'm going to be a little bit fancy. I'm going to throw in some curry leaves because I bought some curry leaves for my the other day when I was doing the roti chana recipe, and I ended up not using it because I didn't realize I had some frozen curry leaves left. So I might as well use that up. Another ingredient I'm going to throw in is just some garlic, minced garlic over here. And I might throw in a few slices of onion, okay? Usually you want to puree this, but I don't have anything else to puree, so I'm not going to bother having to wash out my thermal cook jar just for like a quarter of an onion, right? So I might just slice it up, I might dice it up. Yeah, just let me get, and I'm going to use ghee, okay? And look, none of this is compulsory. Fried rice to the Asian is really kind of like, oh, like, you know, we always tend to have some leftover cold rice, or let's cook this up and see what we've got in the fridge, kind of like a fridge clear out kind of dish, right? So if you don't have curry leaves, don't worry. You don't have garlic, don't even worry. You know, onion, don't worry. But just to jazz it up a little bit, I'm going to use ghee, which is clarified butter. Here you go, this is what it looks like, right? But of course, usually just straight good old vegetable oil is totally fine, or even, you know, whatever oil you want to use, right? Yeah, just let me get a quick knife, and I'm going to cut up the onion, okay? Okay, so like I say, I'm just going to probably dice it up, I guess. But yeah, usually, you know, you can just throw it in a blender with the garlic. If my garlic had needed to be minced, I would have thrown the whole lot into the food processor. That's probably enough. Now, as far as, like I said, ingredients that go into nasi goreng, the recipes are quite diverse. If it's cooked by a Chinese person, right, they tend to be a little bit more light-handed in terms of the seasonings that go into it. The Malays and the Indonesians tend to like a more kind of like more flavorsome dish, okay? So that's why in Chinese restaurants, when you have fried rice, you know, it basically acts as a substitute for plain rice, and it's so, you know, it's fairly bland in terms of the amount of seasoning that goes into it, because it's then eaten with all the other stuff, right? The Indonesian and Malay fried rice tends to be kind of like served to be eaten on its own. And the other thing I want to mention as far as the egg, right, you see with this particular version that we're doing today, it's just basically a fried egg that sits on top of it. And I'm looking for my stirrer. So where it is. But, you know, again, fried rice is so incredibly flexible. You can actually half fry up the egg, which is what a lot of the Chinese recipes do, right? Basically, scramble an egg in there, kind of like cook it like halfway, dish it out, and then like throw it in again after you've done the rice. After you're halfway cooking the rice, and just kind of like chop it up so you get like little egg bits, right? And of course the Thais, if you had Thai fried rice, one particular version, I think it's from Chiang Mai, I'm not sure. One particular version basically cooks a really thin omelette that wraps up the whole parcel of rice, sort of thing, and turns it into almost like an egg parcel, right? Whereas some of the Nyonya recipes, Nyonya is a particular subset of Malaysian cooking, right? Usually, what they do is they cook up an omelette and then they cut it into slices. Okay, so some of the Malay and some of the Nyonya recipes handle egg that way, but it's really kind of like fairly arbitrary. Noah, please, are you gonna sit down, please? Go sit. Okay, you go sit over here. You can sit here. Once this is over, he'll happily go over and do his own thing. But for as long as I'm broadcasting, he's gonna like try and like do things to disrupt the seatings a little bit. I'm gonna turn this on. As far as the wok is concerned, this is a thin, cheap iron wok, right? You can pick this up at Asian grocery stores. This would have cost probably, this day and age, probably about 20 bucks or something like that, right? And people talk a lot about seasoning your wok. I never go through the whole seasoning process, right? This is just through wear and tears turn basically a nice flat color, but I don't go to the trouble of trying to like apply special seasoning stuff to it. Okay, so let's do this. My fried rice is going to be fairly plain, but as far as the flavors that go in, I'm going to throw in. There are some recipes to give it that strong color. There are some recipes that use oyster sauce, okay, in it, and some that use kicap manis, which is the sweet soy. Indonesians like their kicap manis a lot. I'm not such a huge fan of kicap manis because I tend to find it I think the flavor profile is a little bit too sweet for me. So kicap manis is just sweet soy. You can also, to obtain that dark color, you can also use that cooking caramel that you would have seen me use in some of my other recipes as well, right? I need to get a wok stirrer that maybe I'll just use this. Give me a second. No, we come with Mama, please. Come. Come over here. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, yeah. So before I go on any further, I want to show you that chicken that I made the other day. I fried it up. I fried some of it up the other day to show you guys, right? But I mentioned essentially with ayam goreng, fried chicken, and I'm going to fry a couple of pieces of it for this particular recipe, right? Ayam goreng, the way I cook it, if you watch my previous broadcast, if you didn't, just go to past broadcast on Twitch, right? JackieM.live takes you to that page. Click on past broadcast. It's up there for another week or so, right? But basically, the way you make ayam goreng is a two-step process, essentially. You want to first simmer the chicken in the marinade to make sure it's cooked through. And then you let it sit in the marinade, the chicken, preferably let it sit in the marinade overnight, right? In the fridge, obviously, so that the flavors get absorbed, right? And then the next day, you're going to find that the marinade will turn gelatinous, okay? So this has been sitting in the fridge since my last broadcast 2 days ago. You can see, okay? Okay, so this is the sauce that has turned gelatinous. Noe? So what you want to do is just basically scrape off the marinade best you can before you fry it up, okay? Now, back in my restaurant days, what I would do with this, okay, in its sticky form, is drench it in rice flour and then fry it up, flash fry it for about 5 minutes, just to crisp it up and to get it hot and crisp, basically. But you don't have to worry about whether the chicken is fully cooked through because it already is, because it's been simmered in this, right? So we're going to fry this up in a little bit, and we're going to fry up the keropok. Just move this. No, you can come and sit over here. Good boy. You want to say hello to everyone? Say hello. Good? Yeah, good boy. Yeah, you look up there and say hello. Okay, come you sit over here, good boy. There you go. Yay! Okay, right. So let's get started on the fried rice. I'm going to have to use this, okay? This is a very Chinese thing to cook fried rice with, but usually I use a wok stirrer, which I can't find at the moment for the life of me. So first off, no. Let's throw in some ghee. Okay, so the ghee gives it a nice buttery flavor. Now, as far as I go into it, you know, some people put chili, some people like chili paste, some people put belacan, some people put dried shrimp, minced dried shrimp. So you can get pretty fancy with it. You can obviously put meat into it. Usually what I do is I open a can of like, you know, beef spam or something like that and cut it up into little chunks, or you've got any leftover like toast chicken, you can throw that in as well. Like I said, I'm already serving it with some fried chicken, so I'm going to keep this fairly plain. So I've got the onions. No one say hello, Cyan. So garlic, use a fair bit of garlic in my cooking. You can leave it out. I like garlic, right? No, no. Now let's just sit over here. Okay, so if you were cooking with like some dried shrimp, you would throw it in now. The Nyonya version, usually does have some dried shrimp in it. Or you can use fresh shrimp, obviously, but you will put it in about now, right? And let's throw in some rice. So this is a rice that's cold and it's been refrigerated. Obviously it's cold. And the trick to cooking, like, you know, in all honesty, the Chinese are a little bit more particular about having their rice, like, kind of like their fried rice to be loose and like, you know, quite dry. The Malays and the Indonesians aren't so fixated on it. So sometimes you might find some fried rice that are a little bit, that have a little bit more moisture in them. Okay, that particular version that I had in Kelantan did have some more moisture in it. And ingredients such as oyster sauce will actually cause them to be quite like quite wet. Okay, so you just have to be quite careful in how you handle these kinds of wet ingredients. Usually the Chinese try to put as little of those kind of ingredients in the fried rice dish as possible because they, like I said, they like to keep it dry. So they'll use dry ingredients like the chicken powder and the you know, salt and that sort of stuff, right? So even when they put soy sauce in it, they put it very, very minimally because they don't want it to start sticking and start getting bloody. Okay. And using the ghee is kind of like my own take on it, right? Because like I said, I'm just being a little fancy. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of cooking with a ladle because I can never quite pick up scrape the bottom of the wok as well. Okay. And generally, if you're using a thin wok like this, you want to get it start smoking before you add the other ingredients in. Now we can sit down. Here we go. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah. Don't touch, don't touch, don't touch, okay? Don't touch. Okay, so really the only must-have ingredient obviously is the rice, but all these other stuff. Pepper is a very popular ingredient in it, so I'm just going to sprinkle some pepper in here. Sesame oil, okay, this is a cheap version, right? You can get nicer sesame oil. It's basically, the price basically reflects how pure the sesame oil is. When I say pure, I don't mean like Westerners are familiar. If you buy it from a health food store, you get non-toasted sesame oil. All Chinese sesame oil, all Asian sesame oil is basically roasted sesame oil, okay? So when I say pure sesame oil, I just mean that it's roasted pure sesame oil as opposed to sesame oil, roasted sesame oil that's had other stuff added to it, okay? Bit of soy sauce, Zoe, please. Okay, I tend to find, you know, okay, so this is just a light soy sauce. I tend to find that soy sauce can be quite strong flavored. I try to be very light-handed with it. I had someone mention like You know, they have trouble balancing out the flavors in Asian cooking. That's why some of the ingredients I use, like the Knorr chicken powder, I use them simply because they're not overpowering in their flavor profile. So if you use too much soy sauce or you use too much fish sauce, you can find that your dish ends up tasting very fishy or very soy saucy or something like that. Okay. Okay. So this is the cooking caramel, which is going to give it that dark hue, right? And I've talked about this before. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by Noah here. Noe, please. And keep in mind with this that this is almost like a concentrated sweet soy sauce, except it's less sweet and more concentrated. So it's going to be very caramelly, and a little of it goes a long way. Okay. So I don't know if you can see, but it's darkened the fried rice quite considerably now. Just let me turn this off. Dish it up, and then I'm going to do the other stuff that go with it. Okay. Chloe, you want to sit down, please? Here we go. Good boy. Yeah. Good boy. There we go, sit, okay? Don't play. I'm just going to move a few things out of the way because no one's going to knock them over any second. Come, sit, please. Here we go. Good boy. Are you a good boy? You go watch your show? Come watch your show. Come. Go watch your show. Here you go. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Okay. Yeah, good boy. Go watch your show over here. Good boy. Okay, so that's step one done. That's the fried rice. Like I say, the Malay fried rice, Indonesian fried rice tend to be a darker hue. But you can achieve it. If you don't have that cooking caramel I use, obviously you can use the kicap manis that I mentioned, the sweet soy sauce. But just remember it's sweet, okay? So don't use too much of it unless you like your rice to taste quite sweet. Or you can use oyster sauce. It will add a little bit of color to it as well. Oyster sauce, as with kicap and this sort of stuff, is a little bit starchy, okay? So it can get your rice to start sticking. Okay, so at the moment I've got the rice, and then we're going to cook the other stuff with it. It's out of Noah's way. Okay, so I'm just heating up some oil here. This is some used oil from the ayam goreng the other day, so I'm going to use it to fry more ayam goreng, fried chicken. This out of the way. It's perfect in the morning, especially when we have leftover rice the night before. Yeah, for sure, definitely. It's the sort of stuff, like I say, you know, you're not tied down to any particular ingredients that you have to have in the fridge, right? So it's very, very versatile. And I'm going to, so I've got some cucumber here. I'm trying to figure out if I have time. See, I've only got the one stove. No, what's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter? You want to eat? Eat? Okay, you got to sit down. You going to sit down? You're going to eat it soon, okay? You're going to eat it soon. Okay, you sit over here. You sit over here. Here you go. You sit close to Mama. Okay, no? Look, As far as the pickle, if you want to pickle your cucumber, what I would suggest you do is bring some vinegar to a boil. Have a touch of water in it. Bring it to a boil. Throw in some chili slices, some sugar, a bit of salt, and then that's essentially all you need. You can throw in some garlic cloves as well, like some crushed garlic cloves in it. Bring it to a boil and then pour them over your cucumber slices, right? And then just let it sit in a jar or something like that for a bit. And that will give you some nice pickled cucumber. And you can do the same with onion as well. That particular version of the fried rice actually used pickled onion, okay? So that's your thing. Absolutely do that. Yeah, I know. Noah's just, I think he's going through this phase where he has to absolutely get my attention. And he knows when I'm not paying attention to him. It's not as though I play with him all day. I'll be like 2 feet away doing work on my computer and he'll leave me alone all day. As soon as I turn the camera on and start broadcasting, it's like, okay, let's bother mommy. Noe, what's the matter? What's the matter? What's the matter? Okay. Put this here. And I want to show you the keropok, okay? This is a commercial version. I have made my own prawn crackers before. But like I say, over in Kelantan, on the east coast of the peninsula, Malaysia, they like their fish crackers as opposed to prawn crackers, right? Where I come from, we eat more prawn crackers. As far as brands, it's quite strange because like even my own Asian family, when I fry some of this up and take it to family, kind of like events, they're like, oh, which brand is this, right? Look, I'm not sure I even pay that much attention to the brand, but for what it's worth, this one is a Komodo. Okay, it says keropok udang, which means shrimp crackers or prawn crackers, and this is from Indonesia, product of Indonesia. Okay, and this costs in Australia $3.50. It's there's about, I don't know if that's just over half a packet left, and this is what they look like, right? Oops. You know the oil is not ready because it's just crumb fell in there. Okay, this is what they look like. They vary. Some of them are smaller pieces. These ones are actually quite large, and they will actually puff up once they're fried up, right? And you do need to keep them in airtight containers after you fry them up, otherwise they will go soft. But Indonesian keropok, I find, if you're buying them from the store, Indonesian ones are usually a safe bet as far as flavoring. The ones you get at Chinese restaurants, sort of like those suburban Chinese restaurants with those colorful shrimp crackers, they usually don't have much flavor in them. But also, yeah, my aunt used to make them a lot, so that was her forte, and she used to make them back in Malaysia when we were kids. She used to kind of like lay them out to bake in the sun because you want to dry them like this. So what you do essentially is you use fish paste and corn flour, right? And I think some rice flour. I'm trying to remember how I made it now. Basically, you mash up the fish paste with the flours, right? And then you season them and all that. And then you make them into rolls. So if you can imagine something like this, originally it will be part of like a long roll, okay? And then you will steam them in a long roll, and then you'll slice them thinly like this, spread them out onto these big like sheets or whatever it is, and put them out to sun dry till they're crispy. That's how you make keropok, okay? And we used to fry them up and sell them at my dad's store, because my parents used to be street food vendors back in Malaysia. Okay, so this oil is going to just take another minute or two to heat up. But the other day, can we sit please? Yeah, sit down. Sit down here. Good boy, yeah. Yeah. Sit. Yeah, good boy. Sit. No, sit. No. No, sit. Okay, so that didn't work. I was hoping he works really well with the encouragement sort of thing, with positive reinforcement, but that didn't work that time. So bring this up. I should have actually started heating this up in my other stove earlier. And you know, after all that talk about the curry leaves, I forgot to put them in. But yeah, you could have thrown them into your fried rice earlier, okay? But you want to fry them up with the ghee at the start to bring out the nice peppery flavor that comes with curry leaves, okay? But yeah, totally spaced it off. Thanks, Noah. I want to blame Noah for everything today. Let me just take this out. You're gonna get to eat some of this. I know you like this, okay? Let's heat this up. There you go. So you want to get the temperature up to about 160, 180 degrees. I never measure it, to be honest. You know, if I were using a deep fry, I would set it to 180 degrees for this, okay? No, you want to eat? You want to eat? You want to eat cucumber? He knows that's not his kind of food. Okay. Let me just get the chicken ready as well. Just scrape off some of the thing, and I'll. For those of you who missed the other day's broadcast, you get to see how I do the chicken. Okay. Let me just try this. Okay, so it's not ready yet, but let's do the chicken. Okay, so the chicken in its marinade, that's half solidified. Okay, the crock pot is getting ready, so I'm going to have to leave this and focus on the crock pot. Okay, so that's going to happen when you fry it, and you want to just spread it out. Make sure it's cooked through evenly. Okay, the oil is a bit yellow from the chicken that I used to fry the other day. Okay, so it's going to fluff up. It doesn't usually look as yellow as this. It's just the oil that's causing it to look quite yellow. Okay. And it should really fluff up a bit more. I think it's because the oil's not quite hot enough. So there you go. That's the crock pot. It's the original size. It's about like a quarter of it. Okay, so it's meant to expand quite a lot. Okay, let's try another one. So basically, when it curls up, you want to try and like it should open up by itself gently, okay, but just try and help it along so that it cooks through evenly, okay. So these are much better looking than the first one, okay. Take that out. And you just want to drain it, and it'll crisp up once it cools down, okay. Just do a few more. Obviously, if you're using fresh oil, it'll cook a lot better, okay? There's like this oil is a bit old and tired. There you go. I'm just focusing on this a little bit at the moment. So if you've got any questions, I'll get to them after this, because I don't want this one cooks quite quickly and I don't want to burn them. Okay. Okay, just throwing about 3 pieces, 4 pieces in there. Okay. If my connection dropped out, okay. So there you go. That's the crock pot, okay. And this is a point of reference. Again, if you missed it the first time, this is the brand that I buy, Komodo shrimp crackers, and it's from Indonesia. You should be able to find them at Asian grocery stores. But let's get back to the chicken. We want to fry up some chicken. So this chicken, if you missed the other day's broadcast, is just simmered in spices, things like onion, garlic, turmeric. I stuck some galangal, I stuck some lemongrass in it. But again, the kind of stuff that you put in your fried chicken marinade is again fairly arbitrary, okay? And of course, it's got the seasoning like a little bit of sugar, not much, some chicken powder, okay? So I'm just gonna basically, you wanna kind of like scrape off as much of the moisture as possible, the marinade as possible, before you fry this up. I'm trying to actually, usually, like I said, when I do this at my restaurant, I actually drench it in flour before I fry this, but I'm doing it a bit different this time around, because I want to fry it without the flour, okay? Turn it up a bit. Okay. Hang on. Okay, so this is frying up. Okay. Okay. One daily lever Phyllis, your comment about having kids around when I've got hot oil, okay, just go away right now, because this oil is farther away from him than it would have been if it were on my stove. So if you're going to be a smart aleck about it, just go away. I'm not interested in dealing with this kind of trolling, okay? I'm not interested in dealing with people who are going to like find reasons why I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So if you want to do this, go do your own freaking cooking broadcast and whatever. God bless you. But as it is, I'm a former restaurateur who gave up my restaurant to look after my Down syndrome son. Okay, and this is him over here. He's disabled. And everywhere we go, people find reasons why I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing because he's disabled or whatever. Okay, so go somewhere else and troll somebody else, because I don't give a damn what you have to think about what I do. And for the rest of you, so this is what it looks like. You see the chicken over here. And I'm just going to put it on the fried rice. And put some of the croque on it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the sambal, okay, in a minute, once this is ready. Another piece of chicken. Yeah. And you're going to find that there are going to be bits that end up in the oil. So just make sure you sift your oil quite well before you go on any further. These are like the burnt crisps, right? And if you want to make the crisp, you need to watch my previous broadcast, because in my previous broadcast, I actually showed you how using the marinade. I strained the marinade. Now, I'm not going to do it now because the marinade is actually coagulated after it's been sitting overnight. But what you want to do is basically heat up the marinade again so that it's, it's liquidized, and then you want to strain it, and then you use a couple of tablespoons of that marinade. Add some water to it. You can add some coconut milk in it as well, and then add some rice flour to turn it into a thin batter. And then you throw it in the oil, and then you fry it up until it stops bubbling. And what you'll end up with are like these crispy rice flour crisps that you sprinkle over the ayam goreng, the fried chicken. Okay. And the other thing you can do as well, after you sift out the marinade, what you're going to end up with will be all the bits, all the other, the chunky bits of the marinade, which are going to be like basically the lemongrass and the onion and the garlic and all that. That you can also fry it up over here, and I did it the other day as well. So what you'll end up with will be kind of like a flossy, kind of like crispy, flavorsome bits that you can also put on your chicken. Usually it'll be either or, okay? So you'll either have the crispy flour bits, or you'll have the crispy serunding, what we call serunding, okay? So serunding covers a lot of different things. So it can mean those crispy bits from your fried chicken as well as it can mean the shredded meat floss that you use, okay? I'm going to just fry up an egg, so just give me a second while I put this fried rice out of Noah's way. And kita, Noe, what chicken? So like I said, with the egg, you can either have fried it with the fried rice, like scramble it into the fried rice, or you could make it an omelette separately, or you can just, like in that picture there, throw it in as kind of like a fried egg that sits on top of your fried rice, okay? Which is the most common way if you're eating it at a Malay or Indonesian store. Okay, so got that going. And as far as the sambal, yeah, let me just go and grab the sambal for you. No, you want to come with Mama? Come. Come. Okay, so this is my sambal belacan, okay? Sambal belacan just means, belacan means shrimp paste. In Malay, in Indonesian, shrimp paste is terasi, okay? But this is my sambal belacan. It's fried, and usually the Malays are a little bit confused why there's oil in my belacan. That's because this is more the Chinese version, okay? We make the sambal belacan with onion, with chili, and with shrimp paste, and we fry it up in oil, and then we season it just to balance out the flavor a bit. And this is what you end up with, okay? Now, the one in that picture over there, you can't tell from this distance, but that is also sambal belacan, but it's not fried, okay? So all it is just like a pounded chili paste plus shrimp paste, okay? Shrimp paste that's been toasted and then kind of like blended into it. And usually they'll have like a drizzle of a type of lime juice in it, right? Just to bring out some of the tanginess in it, and then it'll be a little bit of salt, and sort of thing, just to adjust flavor. So when the egg yolk breaks like this, it just means that the egg's a little bit old, okay? But it's fine. You can fold it up if you want. Or you know what? why don't we break it up and turn it into an omelette? And then serve it as an omelette over the top. Okay. So got the egg. And I'm just going to cut it into thin strips. Thanks for following. I can't read Chinese. I'm Chinese, but I can't read Chinese. I can speak Chinese, but I can't read it. So. I recognize Chinese writing. I can read my name. I can read a few characters here and there, but I can't read it enough to be able to read other people's names generally. Okay, so that's the sambal belacan over here, okay? So that's the keropok, okay? That's the fried chicken, so fairly crispy, could be a little bit crispier. And these are just plain good old cucumber. So I was running out of stove space. Otherwise, I would have just boiled up some vinegar, like I said. Boil up some vinegar, add some sugar in it, a few slices of chili, and maybe a pinch of salt, maybe some garlic in it as well. Bring it to a boil, and then pour it over some cucumber slices, and just let them sit in there for a couple of hours. Then you've got some cucumber relish to go with your nasi goreng, or with anything else if you want to use it for it. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna take a photo of this, and I'm gonna cut this short because no one's griping. And he's gonna shut up right away as soon as I'm done. I promise you, he'll just be like the most beautiful little monkey. Okay, thank you guys. Don't forget my next broadcast coming up in under 2 days. Friday is Vegan Friday, Meat Free Friday. So tell all your vegan friends to catch it. And I will see you then. And if you've got any questions, hit me up, and I will try my best to answer it. If not here, then in my next broadcast. Okay, ciao.